Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and I'm proud to announce we are at the Milken Global Conference 2024 in Beverly Hills, California. This is the final day. I think the president, Bill Clinton's on stage right now. We're doing an interview, having a lot of fun. And first off, I like to say Nicole Valentine's on the show, expert in FinTech. And I hear all these little rumors that there's a Metaverse going on. We're going to get this out of Nicole. But first off, just welcome to the show.
Thank you, Adam. Such a pleasure to be on your show.
All right, so I get excited. This is like people laugh like, okay, I obviously am kind of one-dimensional, so this is my Super Bowl. Coming to Milken every year, I love it. It's just fun. I'm not a sports person. Like, this is my sport. I know for those of you watching, you know this, long-term listeners, fine. That being said, what gets you excited? Like, what was exciting this year about Milken? Give me some moments, because I've been in here doing interviews.
So this is a Super Bowl
This
for
is
you.
the Super
This
Bowl
is your
for me.
Super Bowl.
Yes.
So we're part of, the team planning the Super Bowl. So, we're excited because this is our vision that has come to life. We always purpose to have great ideas and great content and great programs and speakers to talk about the greatest solutions for the most pressing issues. And so we made it, like we did it. And so, I focus on FinTech, and I was so excited to see so much FinTech programming. We talked about the future of money. We're talking about digital innovation. We're talking about AI. And so that content is amplified, and what's happening, we want to make sure that gets out there. And I'm also just excited about the energy of the people and relationships that are happening just in the hallways. The people that you run into, heads of business, heads of state, innovators, we're all connecting. And we're connecting to be purposed in our work of strengthening capital markets, or, impacting healthcare, or impacting philanthropy or education. And I'm just excited that in this time, when in the world, there's a lot of stress, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of questions about what the future of the world is going to be, that we have a lot of thought leaders and people that are ready to activate their ideas. So that gets me so excited.
Yeah, it is exciting. And I want to jump around a little bit here. Talk to me about this Metaverse. Like, what's going on over here? My listeners need to know.
So, okay, I'm going to tease this out to you because tease it out because it's something that we're building. It's still in development. But the FinTech program, we're focused on financial inclusion, access to capital, and looking at innovative technologies and how it could scale finance. We have a FinTech advisory council where I have great members on there. I have MoonPay, I have Circle, I have Coinbase. I interface with a lot of FinTechs on the council. We have Intuit, we have Chime, we have AWS. I can go on and on.
Yeah.
But we have a FinTech advisory council member that opened a Metaverse. And so I said, well, let's experiment. Why don't we build a Metaverse for the FinTech program? Let's experience it. And I think the thing about technology, which is great, and we always talk about technology as having issues. It's always going to have issues. It's always going to be iterative. It's always going to be something that you have to develop. And I think we need to kind of jump in as we're not technologists, we're not engineers, but we have to experiment with it.
Yeah.
So we're experimenting with the Metaverse, and we really want to use our Metaverse to bring more people into our financial education, into understanding more about what's happening in the FinTech world. So I think that one day, hopefully, this 5,000 people that are here at the Milken Institute will have a Metaverse where more people can come in and participate. That'd be fun.
That's going to be amazing, and I see it. Like, we'll be back here one day. We're going to be looking at this interview in X amount of years back. Like, I remember when you were talking about that, Nicole. That's amazing.
Yeah, the digital world. I mean, there's new worlds that are being developed, and we're a part of it. And our imaginations are just have no boundary. So let's try it and see where it goes. But I'm excited about just being in a pilot phase with it and building it and experiencing what design looks like.
So speaking of FinTech, I interviewed one of your colleagues, Emily Musil-Church, earlier in the week, and she told me that one of the pillars that they're going to be focusing on for next year's Milken Matsepe Prize is going to be FinTech. So I'm like, oh my gosh, this is all you. So, I mean, talk to me a little bit about that from your perspective.
Well, Emily is a powerhouse, and I'm so excited about the work that her and her team are doing. I got a chance to interface with her team, obviously, to talk about kind of the design of the prize. I personally have spent some time in Lagos, Nigeria. I lived there for more than 9 months consistently, and I got a chance to spend time just being in the local region and understanding what locals were experiencing around money, transfer of money, around banking and access to banking. And, I saw that in the sub-Saharan Africa and across the continent, there hasn't always been banking services, financial services that have been deployed to the masses. The banking and financial services that can be deployed are being deployed through FinTech. FinTech, has been, we talk about leapfrogging. They've
sure.
leapfrogged into using technology as their first source. And so it just, the unicorns that exist in Africa, the majority of them are fintechs.
Yeah.
And so that means that there's obviously a need for the technology and the services. And there's also just so many more ways that they can, ideas around deploying and applications of it. And so let them build, right? Let them build from their set. And I think about when you talk about building and solutions, it's always best to have the person or the team that is closest to the problem to be a part of the solution. And so if the problem is access to capital and being involved in financial ecosystems or making sure that there's more access to capital or loans or access to insurance through InsurTech or through FinTech, I think it's great that, we take that and we give, the groups that are there on the ground, know the issues, put them in the driver's seat and give them the capital so they can go out and build.
What does that do? I think sometimes, and the reason I'm asking this question is I feel like sometimes, especially our audience, 99% are U.S. based probably for our audience. So I think sometimes we take it for granted, maybe some of this infrastructure that we already have or access to capital or just things that are in place. But when you think about like a mobile first economy or some of the other things that have kind of developed, like what does access to capital provide for these growing economies?
Access to capital provides everything. The capital that's in place, the capital that's lended, it can enable more opportunity, higher transaction value, hiring teams, bringing on workforce. You have economies that do so much with so little. And what happens when you give them more so that they can do more? And so I think, to me, it's just a no-brainer. It's just simple math. Just fuel the economies that have these great ideas, this great talent, and this great need, and the scale is there. So I think that's something that, I focus on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Nicole, I just want to say, this has been great having you on the show, snagging you for some time. Final question, going into, after this conference, you're the Super Bowl team. You're my team on the back end. I love it. What happens after this? I've never asked this question to any of the other experts. Like, what do you do after this? Like, is there like a break for a second? Probably not. There's probably not. It just goes right into the next thing, huh? What's next?
So, we're global, as you know.
Yes.
We this is our Super Bowl, but there's many bowls that happen
Singapore,
around the world.
You got all these others.
Yeah, Singapore,
What's
Abu
next
Dhabi.
in your schedule?
So I wish I could say I'm going to take a break, but we are doing a lot in FinTech, and we're focused on making sure that we work on this Metaverse.
Yeah.
So that's in design and that's happening. We're also just making sure that we bring this AI conversation to more people. So we're going to be developing some more research on AI and finance in particular. Kind of how does AI and finance, how is it going to evolve? AI has always been a part of finance, but this Gen AI piece and kind of new applications, we want to make sure that we're putting that out there. So we have a newsletter called FinTech in Focus, where we just talk about and share all of these current events as well as relevant issues that we'd like to discuss. And so we like to make sure that, that's deployed and all the information's out there so that we all can be a part of shaping this future and we all have the same amount of information to get there.
Wonderful. I said the last question was the final question, but I guess I got one more. How do people get the newsletter?
So they can go on the website, and if you go into you press FinTech, you can see there's a subscribe button for our FinTech newsletter, FinTech in Focus. Yeah. So come see us. We'd love to be engaged with everyone. I'm always looking for real world use cases of FinTech, new applications, innovative ideas, innovative founders that have ideas or they see problems in the financial services sector that's not being addressed. We want to know what's out there. We want to know how you're handling it, and we'd love to amplify those solutions. So reach out to us. Our program is always interested in knowing those types of innovators.
Perfect. And for everybody watching, just so you know, we'll put the links to the newsletter in the show notes, so you can just click on the links and head right on over. And Nicole, again, thank you so much for making some time for us over at Mission Matters. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much. This was so great, so fun. Let's go.